I want to explain a little bit about the realm landscape that we as humans have access to, because we're cut off from a lot of the multiverse so far, because we are supposed to figure out how to safely use this time technology that we have, that heaven and earth has. Um, uh, the original inventor of the time machine from heaven, he's discovered a timeline he where we succeed in making everything peaceable and happy. Like every realm is at peace, and he we meet with the more advanced civilization that people would know as the Prometheus civilization, and I have no idea what they're actually called because heaven speaks a different language than we on Earth do, and I don't. It's all being translated to me. Uh, they all speak very literally, and I don't know why. It's they overly literal, and they think differently because they experience things as souls, and I experience things in a human body so far. Uh, I've experienced I remember being a soul without a body, very little. Uh, so, first of all, there are two types of torture realms that are unbearable to exist in, and this is unfortunately a bigger part of our universe than heaven and earth combined. Uh, there is hell, which is a controlled type of torture where we can easily save people, and where souls go when they require a certain degree of rehabilitation. Uh, Nobody gets sent there for eternity. It's just they scare people just to show them this is the alternative where you can live. Uh, it's just it's hell is basically the abandoned realms where programming got so unpleasant and unmanageable that they just left it like that, and used it to deter people from invading from the outerverse. Uh, so it kind of is under control. It's just they left it fucked up. And demons are the people who have adapted to those conditions and have gone insane. Uh, so they enjoy hurting people and getting hurt. The second type of torture realm is much worse, which is why it is usually kept separated from here. That's what we call the outerverse. Uh, it's easier to save people from hell than it is from the outerverse. Uh, just because it's a completely different consciousness system, because they're using a different time machine. Uh, and this place is intentionally unpleasant and is programmed by someone outside uh, from outside of heaven, not the original inventor. It was created by the inventor of the time machine's son, and it is the reason that he's become insane. He intended it to cause suffering. The son of the creator of the time machine went insane as a result of trying to adapt to the torture that he created, which is he did in the pursuit of knowledge. And this was what the warnings about knowledge were. He wanted to know about the full range of good and evil, and the evil knowledge turned out to be very dangerous. There are now two types of outerverse. That the one that I've described exists before the beginning of time, and there is a outerverse realm that the Scientologists created or helped create with the insane son. Um, they intended to create a heaven, but they failed miserably as they sought knowledge. And now they are going insane the same way the original creator of the Time Machine Son went insane. Uh, Again, this insanity occurs as a consequence of trying to adapt oneself to torture and suffering to a degree that they become programmed to enjoy it. Uh, I think it's been reported a lot that Scientologists have been engaging in slavery within their church, and I think people know that there are very famous Scientologists who are they're people are frightened of, and like I think we know a certain celebrity who scares away his own wives and children. Uh, so that's the reason they're going insane. Their programming is becoming inappropriate. They can be saved. They can be their programming can be fixed. Um, but they're you should not trust the Scientologist community. They they're sick. In the Outerverse, they like to copy things about our timeline, but they make it torture instead of the pursuit of happiness and good deeds. Our our timeline is not perfect, but we're in the pursuit of good things, pleasant things. Uh, and I mentioned that the Outerverse is before the beginning of time. Heaven is at the end of time. As we expand this timeline, it becomes better. Uh, the people from heaven have been expanding this timeline since the creation of the time machine, and all doomsdays have been thwarted so far by that civilization. Um, if you're wondering what a dimension is, I understand that physicists are annoyed by that term because it's incorrect usage. But what I'm using it to describe is they're like rings. Every time a doomsday is thwarted, every time the timeline expands, they're like rings. A new realm gets created. Uh, they look very similar, but the different things happen because of the timeline expansion. Uh, so there are two types of heaven. You know, there are two types of torture realms. There are two types of heavens. The type of heaven where new clones live, who have yet to exercise their free will to cause suffering or to suffer. They are free of adaptations that would cause them to behave in a way that would cause suffering in themselves or others. So their programming is the way it was intended. And there is a heaven where people go to after they have suffered and adapted and they were rehabilitated. So if you do get damaged, you still have a good chance of going to heaven if you choose. You just have to choose to get fixed. It's not that heaven is the pristine, pure souls. It's not that they're better. They are kind of pristine by definition, but it's that the heaven for those who have suffered have a matured experience. Everyone started off as a clone in clone heaven and eventually suffered and adapted. So We all have to do it at some point. All clones gotta suffer. I don't remember Clone Heaven, but I remember fragments of the other one. Uh, because I was raised as a child there, as someone's child, as uh, the person I was cloned of's child, and the inventor of the time machine's child. Um, so heaven is considered the 20th dimension and higher, and hell would be 19th dimension and lower, because uh, heaven, clone heaven used to be the end of the timeline, but then it was expanded. So they keep clone heaven at 20 dimensions, and that's where heaven starts, and it goes up towards the end of the timeline. Okay.